inconsistent to treat differently the people who are being bad, nasty, immoral towards me versus those who simply hold beliefs that are immoral. But it's not entirely the case, and I mean, and by inconsistent, I mean, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't, it would mean that I'm not following a kind of general principle. But in fact, it's not entirely the case, right? Because if you're discussing with people, and especially what I mean by nasty is like people who are actually trolling and who don't want to have a discussion, as opposed to just being sort of not nice but still interested in discussion. Because with those, I do in fact have discussions, and I still say pretty much the same, and I still say quite polite typically. But it's true that with trolls, so why is it that you can't have a discussion with trolls, or people who just who are being so hostile that you can't really have a discussion with them? Um, the reason is that because they have no interest in having a real discussion, it means that um, they won't actually contribute anything. They will neither contribute useful knowledge typically, although maybe sometimes, but typically not. And also they themselves won't change their minds from what you say. Um, and that there's no actual fruitful exchange going on, which means that there's really nothing to be gained from that kind of interaction, which is why I think basically the only response to have is to shut them down. So I still do think basically you shouldn't get upset with them, right? But I do think it makes sense to ban them. So like I said before, before I said I wasn't going to ban people that I disagreed with, and I still think that, but I'm not. I am still going to ban trolls, and I think so. That's the logic behind there, because with people you disagree with, you still can have fruitful discussions in as much as you can actually you can compare different arguments, and you can actually see the merits of these different arguments. Obviously, to some extent with trolls, if they're arguing at all, you can do that too. But it just kind of tends to create uh, a weird atmosphere, because they're really looking for something else. They're looking to take you down. So somehow that tends to skew it. It's true that it's a bit hard to explain exactly why that is a problem. I mean, you could imagine that, and in a way, you almost might. You can have discussions with trolls who pretend to be, arguing honestly, and actually they're not. Um, so that is something that I'm a bit conflicted about, and I'm not entirely sure how to deal with that. Um, but the main point I'm making here is that, I mean, there is logic to doing this. There is a logic to banning trolls and not banning the others, and not and as a result, if you're going to have a discussion, you can't be like that harsh either. So you can just be, I can just be a bit cool towards them. But if you're having a discussion, you're still going to be pretty civil, um, because otherwise you're not going to be having a discussion at all. So that's just adding a bit of nuance to this. So just because from what I said at first, it's true that it sort of seemed to indicate that I should treat them all exactly the same, and actually, um, I don't really think that's the case. So that is all I have to add for now. I don't think many people are going to be coming on stream, so I'm going to stop.